Yo, what's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and I know we're not outside running the Axial Yeti like I had hoped, but unfortunately it is raining outside. It's been nasty for the last couple of days. It's that time of year here, so we're just gonna have to work with what we got. And today, while I was poking around here in the shop trying to find something that I could work with, something that would be, I don't know, interesting, maybe something I haven't touched in a while, I stumbled across the blue 10AJK here. This old dusty thing, which literally it's dusty. It's been sitting on the shelf for so long. But as you can see, it's no shelf queen. It gets beat on. It's got a lot of paint missing. It's got a lot of scratches, a lot of dings, a lot of wear and tear. But it is a powerful little truck, man. This thing is stupid powerful. It's got a bunch of Holmes Hobbies equipment in it, and I think it needs some more. Plus, I'm also thinking that it needs fixed. It's got a problem. See, I can roll it like that, and it will, if you know my builds, none of them roll this easy. It's they're all geared down for the most part. So obviously something is broken right now. So we're gonna go ahead and pop it loose, figure out what that is, and yeah. All right, you guys. So first things first with this thing, we've got to get the front of the body lifted off. Now we could take the whole body off, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't think I'm gonna need to anyways. I've got it set up to where I can just literally, I don't even have to take any screws off. I can pop it. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, I've already got the drive shaft separated. For those of you that are new to this build and are like, what am I looking at here? This is an Axial SCX10, but it has a front motor conversion done my way, so it's called the, I refer to it as the ESP anti-spur. And there we go. I try to just literally use existing parts and whatever I have laying around. I convert the axial transmission and get it mounted up front, get the motor mounted up front. And typically I use these HPI gear reduction units, but I have since started using these gear reduction units, which we'll talk more about here in a little bit. As far as what you're seeing here, a lot of people ask me about my sway bar setups. As you can see, they do function. It is a real sway bar setup. It's just, I make it really easily, just using spring still and what are them things called again? Collars, Dura collars. These are from Dubro or whatever. These are Dura collars, and so yeah, I just use those. And then I use just some rod ends and some the links with thread on both sides, and literally thread it right into the axle. So there we go, and it works. What I found out here is that this bad boy is actually broken right here. I've got, sorry, I need more lighting. So there, now we've got a little bit more lighting going on here. I can spin this, and it's really easy, and it should not be that easy. And nothing over here spins when I spin the motor. And for those of you wondering, this is an Outrunner. That's the revolver from Holmes Hobbies. It's very dirty. That's the Outrunner. And you can see nothing's happening there. So we've got a break inside of that gear reduction unit. And I think this is a good opportunity to pull it apart, maybe rebuild it, maybe replace it. Alright, now you can see I've got it propped up so I have access to the guts here. And I'm going to basically pull those 2.5 mils out there using this ProTech RC driver. And yeah, we'll see what kind of damage is actually done in there. And there it gives you guys kind of a chance to see how I got this set up here. Pretty simple, straightforward. Sloppy on the wiring, but that's alright. I built this like almost 3 years ago, so not too bad. Alright, so I got the screws out, and it should just back off here now. There we go. And there we have it. That's the unit. And then I will just unplug the sensor port wire, unplug the 3 motor wires, and this little unit will come completely apart. Alright, you guys, and there is the unit. It is the motor and the gear reduction unit all in one. This is the revolver, and you can see it's a 1400 kV. This is it's hard to get your hands on these bad boys. I'm pretty stoked though. And yeah, That's an HPI 10-to-1 gear reduction unit. So, or no, not 10-to-1. I'm sorry. Those are 7 point. What's that? 4-to-1. I forget. I forget honestly. But, anyways, we're gonna get rid of that bad boy. And this right here is the Team Raf 10-to-1 gear reduction unit, or Team Raffi Team Raffi. I always mess that up. But this is their 10-to-1 unit, and I've had a lot of success with this so far. It's a lot beefier gears inside, so and it's planetary. So let's go ahead and see what we can do about getting that swapped over. Alright, you guys, so I got this apart, and I was just going to swap the whole thing out, which I'm still going to if I can, but you guys have got to see this. I think I just split the shaft, is what I did there. It's super nasty, man. I'm surprised it lasted this long. This has not been serviced since I built it, so... I did. I literally split the output shaft right off. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's it. I broke that bad boy right off. First time I've ever done that. I've destroyed the gears before, but I've never actually broke the shaft right off. But then again, we're dealing with the revolver, so... the question is now, do I just throw a new part in there? Because I'm pretty sure I have the part laying around. Or do I just completely swap it to the other one? If I swap it to the other one, it's going to lose wheel speed. It's already pretty slow. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this, but you guys can see that's pretty nasty. And yeah, I don't really want to put that back in here and feel like I can rely on it. So there we go. You see there's a big difference in the output shafts between those two. So we're just going to upgrade here. We're going for the big dog. Absolutely. Alright, you guys, so here's the deal. Obviously, I'm upgrading from a 7-to-1 gear reduction unit, or somewhere around there, 7.4-to-1 or something like that, to a 10-to-1 gear reduction unit, which is a lot more heavy duty. I mean, this thing is beefcake compared to this. However... that's going to reduce my wheel speed. So because it's going to reduce my wheel speed, I had to think for a minute. Do I want to stick with something as low as a 1400 kV revolver for this type of a situation? It will make this thing amazingly slow. Like, I love slow. The torque would be phenomenal. This thing would literally be able to just like... I mean, you barely touch something just past idle, and it'll just walk up things, guaranteed. But it won't have any wheel speed at all, so I'll be limited to just rock crawling with it. And this is a small tire build, which I basically built for Recon G6 action, so I could do adventures. And so I do want it to be a little bit more than that. And with this 1400 kV motor through a 7.4-to-1 gear reduction unit, I'm able to get right around walking speed, maybe just a hair over walking speed for me. And that's pretty good for me. That's about what I want. I'm not into the fast stuff. That's just not my style. I do like fast things, but not when it comes to my trail trucks. I don't want my trail trucks to be fast. In real life, trail trucks are slow, so I'm trying to replicate that. So I'm thinking I need to switch it up a little bit and find another pairing for my motor and gear reduction unit. So after going through the motors I have in stock right now, I pulled out this bad boy. This is a Holmes Hobbies Puller Pro 540S. Alright, this is a stubby, which you guys that have been watching this series know that I love my stubby motor. Alright, it's a 4-pole, but it's a stubby. It's a Puller Pro 4-pole motor, but it's a stubby, so it's going to be nice and short and compact, just like this revolver. And that is what I really like. I'm a big fan of those. I'm familiar with these stubby setups. I really like them. And I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust this bad boy out and just see how it works. I've got everything I need here. My gear reduction unit. Here's the pinion gear for it. Here's the motor. Let's go ahead and crack this open. Comes with the stickers right on top, like always. Throw those aside. And oh yeah, there we go. Here's our sensor wire right on top, because this is a censored brushless motor. It is waterproof as well. Here's some extra plugs there. And let's see if I can get this out of here. There we go. Boom. Look at this little beast. This thing is nice. Big fan of this motor. Nice and compact. You can see when compared to the revolver, It's quite literally the same. It's actually smaller than the Revolver, because the Revolver has this hump on the back right here, right? And for those of you that don't know, the Revolver, the outside of it spins, which is just awesome. You can clearly see why they call it the Revolver. Well, it's actually, look at, when you put it, you know, side to side, the Revolver is actually a little bit taller. So this actually is going to free up a little bit more room for us as well. Pretty cool, which we need, because this is actually a little bit taller once it's all put together. This is taller than the 7-to-1 unit. So it should offset each other, and we should have a nice end result here that looks something like this. And that looks powerful to me. Alright, so let's get started on this. Alright, so now you guys can see the difference between the two gear reduction units. This one is offset. Everything, you see how there's two different holes there? The gears kind of offset, right? And rub against each other that way. Whereas this one is actually a planetary, and everything is centered and balanced. And because of that, I believe that is going to make this more durable. That, and also this just has a more durable structure. I mean, the size of the output shaft compared to the other one was just huge difference. But you can see there, I mean, the gears are all tough. One fell out, but the gears are all, you know, much tougher looking, much thicker. These gears are thin and they're offset, so the weight or the stress is actually put on the sides instead of right in the center. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Alright, you guys, it's official, like a referee whistle. It's all done, man. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Anyways, I am super stoked. I'm going to hook this up, do a couple of test passes on it and everything, make sure everything functions properly, install it, and then, yeah, dude, we'll make sure that it's all good to go. I'm just stoked right now. I can't believe that went in so good. Looks really nice. Just the can of power right there. Yeah, awesome combination. Alright, you guys, so it is literally like 2 days later. I started this on Sunday, hoping it would just be like a quick project, but it turned out to be much more of a project than I had expected. So, let me give you an update here. It's now Tuesday, and the video still isn't up, but I finally got this all working properly. My issue was I got my measurements wrong, and the reason I got my measurements wrong is because I didn't actually measure anything. So this setup is definitely bigger than the setup that I had in here previously. And I was hoping it would kind of even itself out, but it did not. So, therefore, what I needed to do, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's actually two motor mounts now. You see right here, there's actually two motor mounts sandwiched together, then the gear reduction unit, and then the motor. And the reason for that is because I had to space it out. So the first motor mount, the one closest to the gear reduction unit, is actually drilled out. Okay, it has like the whole center of it drilled out so that the gear reduction unit could actually slide in nice and flush, because it has a little tip that sticks out, like there's a little ledge. It's bigger than a normal motor situation, so it doesn't fit inside this regular circle for the motor. So I had to notch that all out to get it to slide forward as much as possible. Then I sandwiched it together with another mount to add some stability. And then underneath down here, I actually had to space it out. You can't really see that either, but I had to space it out with a couple of nuts and change my mounting setup a little bit. So basically I took it and shifted it all back this way towards the firewall a little bit to allow room for this to come down past the motor here, right? Because it wasn't fitting. I got it all together, it was working, and then I went to shut the thing, close the body up, and it wouldn't work. So now I got that all taken care of. The next thing that happened was I plugged it in and gave it some juice, and it started cutting out on me real bad. And so I thought maybe it was the battery. Checked the battery, wasn't the battery. Then I thought maybe it was my sensor wires or my sensor port. So I replaced the sensor wire with a different one and checked, make sure everything was plugged in, all connections were clean and good, solid. They were. So the only thing I could think was the ESC must be bad. So then I checked the ESC when I had the battery on, and it was just flashing orange. And that tells you that either there's a problem with the ESC, or that, depending on what update you have, that the ESC is not in cheat mode, I believe, or something like that. So, long story short, I went ahead and installed the Castle Link setup on my new computer because I still didn't have that put in there. Dug out my Castle Link stuff, took this out there and plugged it all in, updated everything. Everything was out of date, so I updated everything, reprogrammed it, changed the startup, changed, what else did I change? I changed the quiet mode, or the 16K switching mode or whatever. I changed all that stuff. I actually turned it down to, oh, I forget the name of it. They have the default setting, and then there's a setting right below the default setting, so I switched it to that. And then, yeah, I just changed some things, and hopefully it'll work now. I'm about to plug it in and find out. I got the radio turned on, and yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Do I have the skills? There we go. Okay, so first things first, the orange light is no longer blinking, so that is huge. That light was blinking, flashing non-stop no matter what, so that's awesome. So that's taken care of. The second thing is, does it run without cutting out on me? And it's going to be louder than it used to be now because I turned off the quiet mode, or the 16 or 18K switching. I forget the name of it right now. Dude, we're good. I am stoked. I mean, this is good to go. So I'm going to get this thing all put back together and hopefully go take it on a little test run or something if it warms up here in the next day or two. But anyways, you guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You know what it is. I'm going to see you guys out on the trails. Peace and chicken grease. Yeah.